is the first word presented by Dr. Pepper as we are running onto the set here as the Cowboys take their first loss of the season, 12-10 your final from the Superdome. Fellas, Brian Broaddus and Nate Newton. Not a good showing from the offense tonight. It seemed like they tried to limit the Cowboys in whatever way they could, whether it be the run game, Zeke 35 yards on the ground, offensive line problems. What'd you guys think? What was the most disappointing part of tonight?
The turnovers from our key players, guys like Witten. I think it was a bad call on Zeke, but it was a turnover. There at the end of the game, another turnover. I mean, when you go on the road, one thing you cannot do is turn the ball over. You have to be a little bit more effective in running the ball. I think they came out and just stuffed us. Basically on the run, we didn't have no shot at our first downs was less than 3 yards. It was always the 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9. That's too much to do when you're going on the road. Yeah,
the offense lost the game tonight. They didn't take advantage of the drives they had. They had 9 drives in the game, and they got the ball at the end there and didn't do anything with it. Just kind of went the way the night was all night. They didn't do a very good job of controlling the line of scrimmage. I thought the Saints did a great job playing run defense. But then you had receivers on the outside that just showed you. Amari Cooper is the guy that's supposed to win on the outside. He had 2 pass interference penalties because he had to push off. Usually that's Michael Thomas is the one that's usually pushing off. But no calls against the Saints tonight in that way. But, yeah, Cooper didn't do a good job winning. Cobb didn't do a good enough job. They missed a 3rd down play coming across the field that could have kept a drive going. Saints kind of capitalized on some things. They did enough to win the game. Give their defense a lot of credit. Dennis Allen and them had a great game plan, able to limit the Cowboys to what they needed to do to win the game.
Malcolm Brown all over the place. Young Davenport was really giving our left tackle some all his hands full. I hope he's all right at the end of the game there. But like I say, that offensive line wasn't as solid as I thought it was going to be up front, and they made some plays. Rankins came back in a limited way and made his presence felt. And just they was hitting us at the wrong time. When you're an offensive lineman, what you don't want to go through a game and have is negative plays. It's all right to be 2nd and 10, but you can't be 2nd and 11, 2nd and 12. We had too many of those, too many plays where we just weren't gaining yards or getting knocked back into the backfield.
Well, there's going to be some questions about Kellen Moore going back to the run early. People are going to say, wait a minute, you were so great on play action. You're so great coming off, and doing that stuff. And I think even the pass plays, the opportunities that they had, going to go back and look at this tape, but I guarantee you, though, there was no Cowboy receivers open down the field. They did not take advantage of some of the matchups. Yeah, they went at Amari Cooper with Lattimore. That was going to be a matchup we talked about, and Lattimore was up to the task. Give him a lot of credit for that, but they did not take advantage of some of the other things. We told you the Saints' safeties were bad. Some of those plays with Jarwin down the middle, Witten down the middle, just clearly didn't do enough to win this football game and attack some of the areas they needed to in this football game.
And one of the big stats took a look at there, I think Cowboys 4 of 11 on 3rd down.
Yeah.
That's getting away from what we saw from the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
The third. Okay, back to Ezekiel Elliott in the run game. 35 yards on the ground on 18 carries. It seemed like, hey, maybe they wanted to see what Dak Prescott could do and taking away Zeke, and there was nothing downfield. I mean, what did they do so well?
You hear me say this, Broaddus Lynch. Y'all hear me say this 1,000 times on these shows. When you go on the road, one thing you have to have, 3 things. You have to have a serious run game. Your defense have to be more than adequate, and your special teams have to hold on. And you have to win two of these deals. We evidently lost up front on our offensive line, but I'm telling you, our defense played lights out. Robert Quinn came to play. You see Leighton Vander Esch knocking them back for losses on 3rd and 1. They made enough plays to win this game, but on the other end, our offense could not generate anything. Every time they got going, they would leak through for a play with a turnover, something bad. Like you say, Amari Cooper, we look at that as a win. That was a standoff tonight, and when it's a standoff, it usually goes to the home team.
He lost. Amari Cooper lost tonight. He lost that matchup.
How much do you think he has an ankle that's bothering him right now?
Well, he did. Obviously, though, he was in the game healthy, and they're not going to put anybody out there that's not healthy enough to play. So he felt like that he needed to be out there to play. If he was nicked up anyway, Linz, I know that during the week he missed a couple of days of practice. Practice Friday was the trainers thought, hey, ready to go. He didn't do a good enough job against Lattimore. Again, I give that guy a lot of credit, though, because he'd been giving up a lot of plays. And in this game, he came to play. He was ready to go.
Looking at the injury list, there might be more, but this is what I've jotted down. Kayvon Frazier out for the game early with a pectoral injury. Tyron Smith, what we all saw towards the end, could be he could barely walk on it. Xavier Woods holding his shoulder, it looks
yes.
like.
Right, shoulder.
Amari Cooper and Leighton Vander Esch limping around a lot during the game as well.
Yeah, there's going to be some injury problems going into Green Bay. I mean, that's just the way it's going to be. I mean, they suffered. The Saints did a great job. I just say the Saints did a great job of playing defense tonight, and they played to the strengths of their quarterback. The time of possession was clearly in the Saints' favor. They were able to physically run the ball. Yeah, they gave up some pressure. The Cowboys early in this game, though, were very fortunate of the holding penalties. So, yeah, I just feel like, though, that offensively, they needed to put pressure on Bridgewater to have to score along with him, and they were unable to do that.
Robert Quinn got home a couple times. That might be a bright spot moving forward.
That is a bright spot.
Yeah, sure is. Yeah.
All right. This has been The First Word presented by Dr. Pepper. Nate Newton and I will be back at 11 for Cowboys game night. We'll see you guys next week.